Saki, the master of mischief. Hector Hugh Monroe, the guy we know as Saki, was a super storyteller. He was known for his clever and sometimes creepy stories. His stories were like traps, pulling you in with fun and jokes. Then bam, a surprise ending. The Open Window is a perfect example of Saki's style, a mix of funny, scary, and making fun of society. A man in need of tranquility. We meet Frampton Nuttall, a nervous guy who's easily spooked. He wants some peace and quiet in the country. Frampton is anxious. His doctors told him to relax, no stress allowed. He goes somewhere new, hoping to chill out. He has letters to help him meet people. The Sappleton Residence, a house of mystery. Frampton arrives at Mrs. Sappleton's house for a visit, but Mrs. Sappleton isn't ready yet. Her niece Vera greets him. Vera is a confident and imaginative 15-year-old. She's a good storyteller, a little too good, especially for poor Mr. Nuttall. Vera's Tale, a tragedy in 3 parts. Vera sees how nervous Frampton is. She tells him a sad story. She points to an open window. She says it's kept open to remember a tragedy. 3 years ago, her aunt's husband and brothers went hunting, she says. They left through that window. They never came back. The bog swallowed them up, she claims. Vera adds creepy details about how her aunt still waits for them. She says Mrs. Sappleton sets an extra place at dinner every night, lost in her dream. Mrs. Sappleton comes in, happy as can be, not knowing she's scared Frampton. She's sorry she's late and starts talking about the open window. She's waiting for her husband and brothers to come back from hunting. Her words, though totally normal, freak Frampton out. He believes Vera's story and feels bad for Mrs. Sappleton. The return fact meets fiction. It's getting dark and chilly, and 3 men appear in the distance. Muddy and tired, they walk to the house. It's Mrs. Sappleton's husband and brothers. They're back from hunting. Frampton is terrified. He thinks they're ghosts. He freaks out, grabs his stuff, and runs away. The revelation. A cruel prank unveiled. Mrs. Sappleton is confused. Why did Frampton run? Vera calmly says Frampton is afraid of dogs. She makes up a story about him being chased into a graveyard in India and sleeping in a freshly dug grave. The men laugh. We now know the truth. Vera made the whole thing up. It was a mean joke on poor Mr. Nuttall. Deception and doubt. The importance of critical thinking. The open window reminds us that things aren't always what they seem. Saki uses Vera's story to show how dangerous it is to believe everything you hear. Frampton's anxiety and willingness to believe make him an easy target for Vera's trick. The open window, a reminder to question everything. The open window represents being vulnerable and facing the unknown. It shows the danger of believing things without asking questions. Saki wants us to think critically, question what we believe, and be careful of people who lie for fun. The Open Window is a classic story that still makes people think today. It's about the power of stories, why we like being scared, and the blurry line between what's real and what's fake.